Guys, I just got an email from a guy saying that he just had rotator cuff surgery because another dirt biker was riding recklessly, riding fast on trails, and he ended up colliding with him. And that is not something that I like to hear about, because number one rule for me is safety when it comes to dirt biking. So that's why I just want to briefly share what I've learned how to prevent dangerous collisions on dirt bike trails with you today. Now, number one is what this guy mentioned, and that's racing on the trails. Now, whether you're on a dirt bike or a four-wheeler or a side-by-side, if you're riding two-way trails especially, it's not a safe idea to be racing and riding reckless. If you're trying to go as fast as you can, not only are you putting yourself at danger, but you're risking other people's lives as well, because I've heard of accidents where people die because of crashing into someone else. So if you want to race, go as fast as possible. Please leave that to the track. Don't do that on state public trails where there might be other people riding. However, I do want to mention that one person's race pace may be similar to someone's fun pace. So if you're a beginner, you're probably riding at lower speeds, but if you see someone going a lot faster than you, you might think that they are racing, but in reality, they're just having fun and they're only going at like 70-80%. But that's because they're so much more experienced and they're able to ride and stay in control at a much higher speed. And then there's the fine line of riding fast and just riding reckless. So I like to hear from you. Where do you draw the line? What is the point in when riding too fast gets reckless and dangerous on the trails? Let me know in the comments below. One major way to prevent collisions and accidents on the trails if you're a dirt bike rider is don't ride on the double track or the ATV and side-by-side trails. Now, I know some of them you have to ride them to get to the single track, but if you can, by all means, try and stick to the single track. Even if it's not one-way traffic, you're not going to run into, or at least you shouldn't, see ATVs or side-by-sides. And for some reason, it seems like they're a little bit more reckless than dirt bikers because you don't have to have as much balance when riding an ATV or side-by-side. So I just briefly mentioned it, but riding one-way trails if at all possible. Now, if you know where most people start for the trailhead, try and go the same way that everyone else is going, because you're a lot more likely to have an accident if you're flying around a corner and someone else is coming from the other way. It's hard to see ahead, which leads me to my next tip, is looking ahead. This is good for any type of riding, motorcycle or driving or anything for that matter, because when you're just focusing on what's just in front of you, just past your fender, you're not going to see what's way ahead of you. So if you're just walking in like a busy crowd on the street and you're just following someone's footsteps ahead of you and all of a sudden they turn but you weren't looking ahead, wham, there could be a wall right there. And when you're riding a dirt bike and you're just looking ahead of your front fender, there might be a tight turn, or there may even be another rider coming 50 feet ahead of you. But if you weren't looking ahead, you won't be able to see them, and they might be slowing down, but you won't be able to slow down in time, and you might cause an accident. And if you care about safety as much as I do, because I want to enjoy my free time with my wife and kids, then I encourage you to download my free basic techniques guide that show you how to stay safe and ride with control on the trails. It's in the description below. So please ride smart, ride safe, and have fun.